Hello. Want to make a video here. There is a lot going on in my life right now, and I don't know, just sort of wanted to talk about it, I guess. Um, Overall, the theme, has been making a lot of great progress, sort of moving into what I'm calling, the sort of new normal idea. It's like for a long time, right? I've been in transition, quote unquote, and I'm starting to move into this new zone of just living, which sounds obvious, but let me just start diving in. So first off, number one, see if I can show that properly. Got a new tattoo. Well, my first tattoo. God, why am I struggling? Okay, here, let me stand. So, got a new tattoo. So, it's a phoenix. I don't know, just very symbolic for me. Just rebirth through flame and such. And yeah, it it's very symbolic. And the artwork is gorgeous. Um, and I don't know, it's me, right? Like this is me. And I don't know, like talk about getting tattoos, blah blah blah. Like this is what it's about, right? Like it is so meaningful to me. Very, very happy to have gotten it. Turned out gorgeous. And yeah, that's number one. Number two, so today is September 2nd. In 3 days' time, 3 days' time, September 5th, I am getting breast augmentation. So, holy smokes, what a life-changing thing that will be. So, let me talk about it a little bit. So, I guess rewinding the clock, like all the way back to like early transition. I don't know, just breasts were something scandalous, you know? It's like something that I don't know. Like the idea of saying I want breasts is like insane, right? Like I don't know, and that's, you know, probably part of what kept me in the closet, whatever, just kept me from my egg cracking, that sort of thing, um, was some of that shame. But nevertheless, once my egg cracked, I got breast forms pretty quick. And yeah, just sort of started wearing them on a pretty regular basis. Um, then I started coming out to people. Uh, in particular, once I came out at work. Coming out at work was this moment where it's like, okay, I am out in public. And I never wore breast forms in public. Like, sorry, I never wore breast forms when I was out. So, like, I had worn breast forms in public, but I wasn't going as me, if that makes sense. Like, if I had happened to run into a coworker, I would hide or avoid them or whatever, like it was a secret at that point. But then once I was just me going out in public, it's like I didn't wear breast forms anymore. Again, there's that shame piece, right? It's like I'm not allowed, basically. Um, And uh and that carried on for a while. I just sort of lived with this assumption basically. I started HRT and I had hoped that it would give me the breast that I wanted. And it's like, it's weird. I don't know. The mental gymnastics are a little weird, but it's like, if I got breast from HRT, that would have been okay. No shame, whatever, because it's like, that's the genetic lottery or whatever. What I'm describing is it wouldn't be my choice, right? Like HRT, like making the decision to take a HRT, sure, but like to actually like choose breast, it's like I don't know. I still wasn't there. I still wasn't there. Um, went on HRT, and yeah, didn't get the breast that I was hoping for, which is fairly normal. Like I don't know, pretty much in order to get like don't get me wrong, HRT has had some amazing effects. Like looking at old pictures versus now, like there's some real changes. I don't know, like I don't know, my skin is smooth. Like I'm just gonna list the freaking whatever medical information, but yeah, like literally, my skin is smoother. Like it's smoother to the touch. Um, I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like before it was sort of like there were more nooks and crannies, I guess, which is weird to say about skin, but like now it's just sort of smooth. I don't know, that's weird. Um, I notice a lot of fat redistribution, especially like around my hips and my ass. Um, like there I actually saw pretty good results. But yeah, one other fun. I don't know if this is necessary. It might be my favorite. I don't know, but here I'll see if I can capture it on camera here. But ooh, yeah, this is nasty close up. Wow, that is not great resolution. Well, I don't know. You can't really see it, but in real life, I promise it's there. I have these freckles now. They're cute as shit. Just like right here. I don't know. It's really cool. I didn't have that pre HRT. Um, so that's really fun. Um, where was I going with this? But one thing that I didn't get, I had some development, but like not really though, for breast tissue. So go on HRT, 2 years pass, which is what like a lot of the medical resources say is that after 2 years you'll see most of your effects from HRT. Like it still continues on slowly, throughout the years, throughout your life, really. Um, but I knew that I wasn't gonna get, the breast that I wanted. I don't know. Like, yeah, like I said, I have more than zero. I have like I don't know, like an A cup, I guess, or whatever, if you want to assign a letter to it. But like it's definitely more than like male breast tissue, but also like it's not the same as cis female. So 2 years pass, and I start thinking about it again. Like sorry, not think about it again, but like start thinking about breast augmentation, right? Like the way that I tackled it then was the way that I sort of tackled many of my major milestones, where it's like, okay, what is next? That's sort of like the starting point, right? And I knew that breast augmentation, like from day one, was a possibility. Um, so then it was just sort of the natural next thing, right? So I, what actually happened was saw my HRT doctor, and God, I'm trying to remember if he brought it up or I did. Um, I wanna I wanna say I did. Like just sort of like trying to get information and that sort of thing, saying that, just casually, like, might be interested, that sort of thing. And he's like, "Oh, we can do blood work for you." Like I needed to pass a nicotine test. Basically, I guess I can't have been a smoker. I don't know. Weird restriction. I don't know what that was about. Um, you need to do a blood test, and I could give you a referral. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know. Suddenly I started panicking. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, like suddenly it's like starting to get real, right? Where it's like now it's no longer just a idea. It's something that starting to turn into action. And I backed off. I told the doctor, like, okay, no, like not right now, not right now. But it stewed with me, like over the next few days, it's like, I don't know, like I could freaking do it. Like, I don't know, like that's allowed. Um, and anyway, I messaged him back on, my chart, that sort of thing. And say like, hey, I'd like to start pursuing this. And yeah, sure enough, he scheduled my blood work, sent me a referral, and I don't know, things started rolling. Um, so let's see, my consult had been scheduled for like September 18th or something like that. Um, so I had a fair bit of time. And I scheduled it in like I want to say late May. So, I had like, a little over 3 months basically before the consult even. Um, and I don't know, just sort of started thinking about it and just the idea of having breast was so alien to me. Like it was so euphoric, but, just like the thought of it was just amazing, but also like it was a little hard for me to imagine, you know? And because remember, I hadn't been wearing breast forms for quite some time. So that the obvious next step was, well, start wearing breast forms, right? Like if you aren't really sure what having breast feels like, well, start wearing breast forms, right? Like, not that it's a perfect one-to-one, representation, but certainly a lot closer, right? So, whew, I don't know. I built up the courage. I built up the courage. It was almost sort of on a whim. It was like a Thursday night, and I don't know. I was just sort of journaling or whatever, and just sort of thinking about it, and I tried to find reasons why not, you know. And it's like this sounds ridiculous, but it's like I'm like shit. I am a trans woman, and I'm allowed to do shit like this. I don't know, like, right? It comes with the territory. And I don't know, it just wasn't something that I had allowed myself to even consider before. And then I just freaking did it. Like the next day, I was so fearful and that sort of thing. And this is like, I don't know, early June or something like that. And I don't know, like people are gonna stare, people are gonna notice and say something and blah 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 blah. And like of course, nobody said anything. Nobody cared. Like it was just whatever. Like I can't say that people like didn't notice or whatever, but it's like it's not something you bring up in polite conversation, I guess. Um, and I was so proud of myself, just for even being able to do that. And then, and then the euphoric feelings, of course, like the whole reason I'm doing all of this, like that was certainly present. It was me stepping into my own skin in a way. And it was beautiful, right? Like, and it was awesome. And yeah. So, um being able to do that, I started to really think about, breast augmentation, what it would feel like. And like the timer is on at this point, right? Um, I'm still working on some of the mental stuff, but it's like the desire was there. It's just figuring out some of the nuts and bolts and blah, blah, blah. And time passed a little bit, and this is like a quick little sidebar. Um, breast forms became something different, right? Like early on, it was like amazing and like transformative, and eh, I don't know, yeah, the euphoric feelings, blah blah blah. After a while, it started to feel, I don't know, yeah, fake, I guess. So like, right, because they're silicone inserts that are just sort of resting on top of my skin, and it like I could feel the barrier between my skin and the silicone. Um, the forms themselves, they of course don't have any feeling, like natural skin would. And I don't know, just the fact that they're forms and like, I don't know, just like putting them on in the morning and then like if I move in weird ways, like things come. I get shrapnel, boob shrapnel that flies, basically. Like I'll lose a breast form or something like that, and I have to be careful and blah blah blah. Like things like swimming or like certain tops were pretty strictly off limits. Um, so all of this was just reinforcing, like, okay, like breast augmentation is right for me. Okay. I'd been on the wait list for the consult, blah blah blah. And I guess they would have called me mid-July and I said, "Hey, a consult opening just opened up here at I think it was the tail end of August." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah." Or sorry, at the tail end of July. And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it. Um yes, please." And blah blah blah, go to the doctor, blah blah blah. um she's like, i I'm pretty booked up, like booked up until like January, um but I do have one opening in September, um September 5th, in fact. And again, I just sort of pounced on it, I guess. Remember, my consult was originally scheduled for like September 18th or something. Now my surgery was going to be happening September 5th. So this is a pretty big jump in the timeline, right? And yeah, it got real. It got real. And a lot of the feelings I've already described to you around shame and blah blah blah. I don't know. It just sort of circled back around and I felt all those feelings and I don't know, just trying to imagine myself going through the day and just sort of like how different it would feel, just and it feels amazing in my imagination. And it's like, okay, like, let's fucking do it, right? Like, I don't know. Well, like, I was already gonna do it, but like, the nervousness just sort of evaporated away. I am 3 days away from my surgery, and I'm not nervous. I don't know. It is a life-changing procedure, literally, right? Like, it's a permanent change to my body. Um, you'd think I'd be like, I don't know, over analyzing things or something, but really not. I don't know. I'm just sort of I, along for the ride. I'm here for it, and it feels great. I don't know. I'm really excited. Um, yeah, just whatever. I'll briefly go over some of the nuts and bolts. So, yeah, one of the decisions with breast augmentation is the insert plane. So there's sort of two traditional methods. The first one is what they call subglandular. That's basically underneath the fat and over top of the muscle. Um, this is what a lot of cis women do if they're looking, if they already have like a reasonable amount of fat tissue, and they just sort of want like a boost, basically. Um, it's pretty non-invasive, and yeah, I don't know, pretty simple procedure overall, I guess. Um, so that's like insert level number one. What's more common for trans women is what they call submuscular. It's exactly what it sounds like. They actually cut open the pec muscle and they insert the form there. So the reason they do that is basically the muscle sort of helps to curve things out, make things look more natural, and yeah, I don't know. That's sort of the gist of it, I suppose. Third option, and the third option is what I'm going to be doing. It's relatively new in the United States, but I guess I've been doing it in Brazil for a while. My doctor actually brought this method up to me. And so, with every muscle, there is sort of this hard outer layer called the fascia or something like that. And what they do in the procedure is that rather than cutting into the pec muscle and then like going underneath it, they cut into the fascia of the front of your pec and so there's that thin hard layer and they put the insert there. It is far less invasive than cutting into the actual pec muscle. And yeah, it just I don't know, it's sort of the best of both worlds basically. The recovery is a lot easier. Still looks incredibly natural, feels incredibly natural, right? It's like the form is like it's like underneath the muscle, or the outer layer of the muscle at least. Like yeah, so I don't know. It is like I said, sort of relatively new in the United States, but my doctor brought it up. She is clearly I don't know, had experience with this and such. And like I did further research and it's like, yeah, like this is the up and coming like thing for breast augmentation, and it's like hell yeah, like let's do it. So really happy with my doctor there. All right, so that was nuts and bolts number one. Nuts and bolts number two is size. Everybody asks about size, blah blah blah. Um, with the forms, they don't have the A cup, B cup, C cup, whatever. They don't use those terms. Uh, they use cubic cent, right? It's cc's. Um, and yeah, because it it's dependent on the width of your chest, the projection that you want, and these things sort of come together to you know you end up with a cup size, I guess. But Eric and I did a fashion show ahead of time, right? Like, I have some B cup forms, some C cup forms, and then some extra, just use some extra padding to get like a D cup. And, just sort of, long story short, went through the different things. B cup felt almost apologetic, relatively small on my frame. And D cup felt like a statement, like, I don't know, but C cup just I don't know, felt right, I guess. So I go to it's like a pre-op sort of thing where talk with the doctor about like, what I want, blah blah blah. And they have some sizing forms and that sort of thing where it's like 300 cc, 350 cc. And it was actually really funny, and I don't know. I'll share this because it's crazy to me, because I didn't know this at all before we started talking about it. But I was trying to determine like the exact size that I wanted, right? Um, and my doctor just sort of waved me off. She's like, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, "What do you mean, don't worry about it?" I guess what they do. This is what she told me. Okay, so I don't know. I had never heard this before, but when they're performing the operation, right? So I'm unconscious. They have me cut open essentially. Um, they have test inserts, not for permanent, insertion or whatever. But what they do is they put these like test inserts in. They basically like sit me up and they like, okay, does this look good? Maybe one size up or down, whatever. Which I don't know. It's just crazy to me. It's like, I don't know, weekend at Bernie's, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, so ultimately, like, my doctor is going to decide the size of my boobs, I guess. I don't know, it's crazy. Right? Like I say my preferences and that sort of thing, right? She's not gonna go completely off the rails. That's crazy. Like basically my range is the 300 to 350 cc. Um which yeah, I don't know. Just it's very very cool, I guess. I don't know, like I didn't really think that would work, and it sort of took some of the pressure off of me, honestly, because I'm like trying to visually see the difference, and the doctor's like, there really isn't one, with the sizes I was playing around with, it was like a, less than a centimeter difference sort of thing. Um, yeah, so I don't know. It's just yeah, crazy, I guess. So yeah, overall though, very excited, very excited. It is going to help me. This sounds so ridiculous to still be talking about this stuff so long into transition, but it will help me to view myself as a woman. I don't know. I still struggle with that shit. Like, Uh, like I'm certainly not a man, that ship has long sailed, but accepting that I'm a woman, that I can do soft things, that I don't know, like that I'm allowed to, right? Like I have these um cultural, I don't know, manacles, I guess. And still trying to slip free of them. Breast augmentation is a pretty big help, I think, where it's just a very constant reminder that, this is real, okay? This is me, and yeah, I don't know, just it's what makes me happy, right? I think it's going to help my um mental state, I guess. I think it'll help a lot. So, I don't know, pretty happy. I don't know. The aspect I think I'm looking forward to the most um, is, I mean, the mental stuff is nice, but, right, I mentioned earlier, the forms, obviously, they're not my skin. They don't have the sensation of touch. Um, when it's literally my skin, I will. And I think it's gonna like change the physics of my body, basically, right? Like, literally, the shape of my body is changing. And I think I'll feel that. When I give somebody a hug, I'll feel the difference, right? Like when I'm walking, when I'm sitting, I, I don't freaking know, like just everything, right? Every aspect of my life, it will be there. And I don't know, just like, yeah, going out to dinner in dresses and going swimming, and that's like all that is great. Like it's all A plus, but like honestly, just the day to day, minute by minute, fucking, I don't know, just shit. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. But just I don't know, just being able to occupy my own skin. Um, I think that's I think I think that's going to be life changing, truly. I did have one other topic I sort of wanted to talk about. This video is already sort of long, um, but I'll just I'll just make it quick, I guess. Whatever, quick summary. Um, just the way I view myself and that sort of thing. I'm trying out this new mental framework. It comes from a ContraPoints video. She's a YouTuber. I'm going to condense a lot of subject matter into like just a few sentences, but basically, and not only am I condensing what she said, I'm condensing it into how I interpreted it. A philosophical framework of how to, view the world. Um, there is the Apollonian, named after the Greek god Apollo. Um, he represents order, civilization, timetables, perfection, achievement. That is one force. The other force is the Dionysian, named after Dionysus. It represents the natural, The vibes basically. It's what nature runs off of. It is where Apollo is like the idealistic whatever. um Dionysus is the real. It is a spontaneous. It is cycles, life, death, rebirth. And the way this connects to me is going into transition. I was very, very Apollonian, where I tried to control every aspect of my life. I tried to control my own feelings, right? Like, I had to have a talk with my therapist at one point where it's like, he had to tell me, like, you don't control your feelings. You can only control how you respond to them. And that simple framework was not something I'd even really, like, I don't know, considered basically. Like, I'm like, yeah, of course you control your feelings. So I was very Apollonian throughout my life, even pre-transition, but especially post-transition. Um, I was constantly migrating towards the Dionysian, the spontaneous, the confident, the flamboyant, um, the flowing, something that I strive for. I talked a little while ago about this feeling of, when I danced barefoot in the grass in my own backyard. That was Dionysus. That was, I didn't have the language for it, but that's what it was. It was me connecting with the world, taking a moment to not do, but just live. Something very rare for me. And at that point, it was so powerful. I wept, right? Like, I fell to my knees. And it's something that calls to me, that sort of ease. And I've lived so much of my life based on achievement and perfection. And I just want to, I don't know, be a little more vibes based, I guess. And yeah, I don't know, it feels good. It's a useful mental framework for me. I think what helps me, because I've used similar terms like expressive or spontaneous and that sort of thing. I think though for me, like, Dionysus is an archetype, right? Like, there's a lot of historical, mythological sort of significance there. Reason it has mythological significance is that I think there's a, this is my little pet theory, there's something in humans that, like, recognizes something like Dionysus. Dionysus, right, represents a lot of different things. Same thing with Apollo, represents a lot of different things that are, loosely connected. But I think that, well, certainly, I think you and I both understand, like, there's this umbrella here that it connects all those things. And seeing those connections, like viewing, allowing myself imperfection and how that ties into, like, connection to the world and how that ties into uh just expression, like making those connections in my brain is it's very helpful, I think. So yeah, that's sort of a framework that I'm running with. But yeah, like it's crazy. Like it's 3 days from my breast augmentation, and more of my mental headspace is occupied with this Dionysian crap than uh freaking breast augmentation. I don't know. It's crazy. Like life is funny. Life is weird. Um, and my camera keeps unfocusing for some reason. But yeah, so a lot happening in my life. Some very, very good things either have happened or are about to happen. Oh, and I didn't even mention, I'm going to be starting up voice training again soon, in like a couple weeks. I actually have to miss a week because of this breast augmentation stuff. So, I don't know, and it's going to be 14 weeks, 2 sessions a week. Um, so I'll be able to sort of laser focus, you know. I think it'll be good because I think if I can get over this hump with breast augmentation, voice, like breast augmentation and voice are like the two big things on my transgender plate, I guess. And I'm addressing them, right? Like crazy, crazy. So, okie doke. Well, I think that's it. Very, very exciting times. For me, I have to say. I will sort of end on a little bit of a somber note and say that I won't go into details, but some members of my family are not having a very good time. And I feel that pain. And um, yeah, it's sort of, but I'm trying not to let it get me down, I guess. Um, right, like there's no purpose to me wallowing. I can mourn others or, like grieve for others or whatever, while still holding joy. I'm allowed to do both. And I need to want to allow myself to do both. So yeah. Sorry to end on a slight downer note, but no, things in my life are really, really good right now. So okay, well, that'll be it for this one. So, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.